What is it that I'm doing right now? It's not a rhetorical question.
Pacing.
Breathing.
Walking. Living. I am walking. I wrote an interesting quote not too long ago. It says, walking is not a lost art. One must, by some means, get to the garage. Now, I sort of looked at this quote and I thought, can I agree with this? And I said to myself, no. Walking is a lost art now. Recently, I was listening to some music on my fancy iPhone, and I came across Walk by the Foo Fighters, and the title was interesting, and I remembered, yes, the music video was about walking. Guy's car instantly stalls in the highway, or there's some traffic, and he just decides to get up and walk to his band rehearsal. And that was interesting to me, because I never thought I could never walk 6 miles to get somewhere. I happen to live so far away. So in this speech, I'm going to tell you about the past, present, and future of walking. In the past, we all started on 2 feet, most of us anyways. We came from the muck and ooze, and we've been walking ever since. So for thousands of years, we've been doing this very same thing. In our present state, however, we have gone on to transportation. Cars, planes, trains, and boats. All sorts of cool devices and toys that we like to play with now and again. Walking used to take us from Asia to America, across the Bering Strait in Russia, and now we just hop on a flight for 13 hours, sit in a chair, and we're here like that. So walking seems to be a lost art now. We walk just to get to the garage, get to our classes, get to a few places here and there, if it's within relative distance. Now in the future, though, I think what's possibly going to happen, we're going to have this fancy teleportation machine that we're all hoping to get. Eventually we're just going to stand there and beam me up, Scotty, and we'll be done. But I'm not sure if that's going to happen anytime soon. We're still going to have to walk places because we're not technologically advanced yet. But in the future, it's going to happen. It's going to happen for a lot of reasons because we're all lazy. Now, if for some odd reason the apocalypse happens and we lose all of technology, we may have to walk again. I was just recently over spring break at Joshua Tree. It's a national park. And I was never there. Friends of mine, they sort of said, come along, and so I did. And what was great there is that we had to walk. You have no idea how exhausted I was in the first 30 minutes of walking. There was boulder climbing and scrambling, as they called it, which is like climbing over lots of rocks as fast as you can to get up a hill. And I was exhausted. That day, they said, you're going to hurt tomorrow. I got up the next morning, and I was dead in that bed, and I could not move a muscle. For that entire week, I just stayed in bed. I was like, you guys are done. So walking is a dead art to me anyways, because I don't do that anymore. I have a nice car, I can drive anywhere I want to, and so do most of you. That's how you got here this morning. So walking is a dead art, but at the same time, I think we can all get back into it if we really try. So I encourage you to get out there, do some walking, do some running, do some jogging, do something that involves these 2 legs that we were given. Thank you. Souvenir?
No, that's yours. Yeah, you keep that.
I'm gonna put this up on my wall. You should.
You should, Doug.
That's a refrigerator quote for sure.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I'll put it right outside my garage.
All right, well, I thought that your opening was okay. I like the idea of the walking as an illustration, but it needs to stop sooner because it does become problematic. I know you're doing it deliberately at the beginning, but as it went on, it just felt like you were releasing anxiety by doing that instead of illustrating your point. You do have an explanation of what your thesis is and the quote. I didn't think that was as clear at the beginning as it was at the end what you were trying to say. There was a preview, and you kind of created a structure, past, present, and future. It felt to me a little bit like you skipped through the past very quickly, some of which you'd already talked about. The present present, you had some ideas on. When you got to the future, you actually came back to the past and talked about some good examples. And once you talked about the examples, I think you were a lot more natural, telling the story about being out in Joshua 3, for instance. I thought went pretty effectively. Your voice projects reasonably well. I didn't see any obvious problems with the delivery except for the pacing back and forth. I will say I was a little underwhelmed. Your eye contact, you look up, but you're generally not engaging the audience. You're kind of looking in the direction of the audience, and I didn't really think that there was much attempt to connect with people either individually or even as a whole. It just sort of, it's like your face is up, but you're not really stopping and connecting with people. I didn't feel like you looked at me once, and I kept watching and waiting for that. I need that little spark of connection there, right? And I wasn't getting it. Like I said, and then at the end of the speech, I thought you had a much clearer explanation of what you were trying to say than at the beginning of the speech. And I think if you leave people with a good impression there, it's going to have a positive effect. Thank you.